was doing her makeup and her hair, right? Mind you, she had her vacation passion twister braids in. And so she said she's going to finish her makeup and then she's going to lay her edges real quick, right? Now, us, we know what that means when we say lay our edges, right? But other people who are not us, they may not know what lay your edges mean, right? So we got a teachable moment on Lifetime TVs. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandy Yvonne. Here at my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows, y'all. This video, we are talking Lifetime's Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 4, I believe, titled Take Me Down to Paradise City. If you are new to this channel, please do not hesitate to click that subscribe button. Also, like the video if you are enjoying this video. Watch it all the way through, please. Help this channel to grow, y'all. It's a growing channel. Share the video where you like to share your videos. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think of the season. This season is moving very, very slow. But I will say it's getting interesting. Like, it's getting a little bit interesting, a little bit interesting, a little bit interesting. So it's tracking along, but I needed to like speed it up before I give up, okay? Because doing a review on a Wednesday night for me right now is very hard because y'all know I have to get up early to do my tutoring before work. So, but that morning position is going to end in December, so it will get better. Anyway, y'all, I apologize for not coming to y'all last week. Y'all know I had a lot going on. We not going to even catch up. I mean, quick recap. They got married. They did the little next day brunch with the families. And then they went down to the honeymoon. Cameron wasn't trying to carry Claire's bags. They were both giving awkward, okay? And that was pretty much it, okay? Like I said, it wasn't worth me trying to catch up on it, but we just did a quick recap, so we good. Now let's get into the episode. So when I do these Married at First Sight reviews, for those who are new to the channel, what we're gonna do is just go couple by couple. We'll start with the beginning scene when they were all together, and then we'll go couple by couple. If there's scenes where the whole cast is together, we'll go there as well. But it's, in my mind, it makes more sense to go couple by couple because there's so many little scenes, okay? So when we do pick up where with the couples all coming down to, Mexico and sitting around, look like they were sitting in like the hotel lobby. Maybe they was waiting to get their wristbands and turning in their passports. Y'all know how I go when you go down to the resort in Mexico, right? So anywho, so they sitting around. Lauren's asking everybody what are their expectations for the honeymoon getaway in Mexico. Lauren wants to do, physical adventure. Cameron talking about he want to get physical. That's the point of the honeymoon, to get it popping. Lauren is like, I'm talking about like kayaking and fishing and stuff. She talking about physical activity. She ain't talking about sex. So, they're talking about the different things they want to do. Cameron said, he's looking for that spark. He's looking for that chemistry. He's looking for the green light for Claire to get it popping because he's ready to get it popping, okay? They talk about all the different ways they want to connect with each other. They also talk about where they all feel they are at. Like Lauren and Orion feel like they're really doing good. Their intimacy and their bond is really, really growing, and they're really at a good space. Orion is happy with Lauren. Lauren is happy with Orion. Okay. Emily said her and Brennon doing good. They cool. They good. So far so good. Austin and Becca, they're like, nailed it. We good. Perfect match. Experts got it. Done. Okay. And then Claire and Cameron, Claire's like, Cameron is very different. And she was like doing this thing, messing with him earlier, talking about, oh yeah, what if, I really annoy him? And she's messing with him. I don't think Claire liked Cameron too much, and Cameron don't like Claire too much. I don't really see it for them at all. And she was like, Cameron is very different from me, but it's okay. We're going to grow to like each other and all this stuff. Cameron is like, you know what? I could be a lot sometimes, and Claire puts up with me. So therefore, she's doing a good job. When people say, let me know what y'all think of this in the comments. Because I have people in my life that say, I know I'm a lot to deal with. Like, anybody that deals with me, they're my friend because I know I'm a lot to deal with. Like, that's good. You acknowledge you are a lot to deal with. But why not just do better then stop being a lie? Like, I don't like when people make statements like that, because nobody should have to deal with you. I mean, we all got to deal with each other. I don't mean we don't. Some of us don't have issues and some of us are perfect. I don't mean that, y'all. But there's some people that like expect you to put up with all of their ish, and no one is required to do that. And there's some people who rather, oh, I'm just going, I'm just this way, and people have to deal with it, instead of, let me try not to be this way, So I didn't like that statement, but whatever. Anywho, now we're going to talk about the less messiest people and go down to the most drama people. Okay, so let's start out with Becca and Austin. We'll talk about all their scenes on the honeymoon. So Becca and Austin, they really ain't doing much, y'all. They really not. They showed them waking up in the morning. They both like to make sounds when they wake up. She was curling her hair. He's feeding her papaya. They talk about they both believe that there's aliens out there and things like that. At some point, I think we see them go on a boat or something, and they're sitting and talking. And so somehow they get on the topic of her health issues. Well, first she was saying how she likes him and she's learning that he's a good guy and she appreciates that. Like she's very happy with him. You can tell Becca really likes Austin, and I think Austin really likes Becca as well. They definitely are the best match this season. And the other ones, Emily and Brennon, I'm gonna give a possible. So we got one and a possible, but the other two, Claire, Cameron, and Lauren and Orion, that's a no for me. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. So Austin said he really likes how Becca, like, even though she's going through her health problems, she still can be in the moment and have a good time and show a lot of strength. And Becca says she really don't even be telling everybody about her health issues and what she's going through. Like, she doesn't tell that many people that side of her. So the fact that Austin sees it in the way that he does, like, makes her feel seen and wanted. And she just likes him even more for that. And that is good. Like, he, he's not pitying her or that kind of thing, because nobody needs that, right? Later on, we see, I don't know if they went out to dinner or what they was doing, but they had there's one point they were at the pool, and Austin was in the pool. It looked like he was cold, though, because the water was cold, and Becca was sitting on the bar with her jean jacket on, and I was like, why this lady got on this jean jacket out here? So she was cold, she wasn't feeling well, so she didn't want to get in the pool, and she apologized to him for like not, wanting to get in the pool and make out and stuff, and he was like, no, it's fine, I understand. And she started crying because she didn't want to make things a big deal, and he totally was understanding, and he didn't want to make her feel bad or nothing. So that was a nice scene to see. Then later on, we see them having another talk. This might have been right before they went kayaking or something. And they're talking about the type of relationships they've been in the past, and how she said she's dated a lot of men who didn't express themselves right, or, didn't speak up or whatever. And so that was really hard for her to deal with. So she needs someone who expresses themselves in a way that she does. Because she's more of like a blunt, straightforward type of person. And so he said he's dated some people who couldn't keep up with him socially. So he likes the fact that Becca is able to keep up with him socially. They also talked about the whole drinking and not drinking thing. I don't know if this was a separate conversation or the same conversation, but he asked her, like, oh, are you okay with, she asked him, are you okay with the fact that I don't drink? And he said, yeah, that's fine. And he's like, are you okay with the fact that I do drink? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. I was helping you, get more drinks. It's good. They also talked about the fact that Becca shared with us, I don't remember how they got to this, y'all, but she shared with us that she used to actually have a lot of anxiety. She would be scared. She couldn't even go to the grocery store by herself. She wouldn't fly. And, I know how they got to it. They're talking about death. Somehow how they're on topic of death and dying and not being afraid to die and just living life. And Austin up there talking about he wouldn't be worried about dying because it's just him. But she's like, well, it's me too. And he's like, well, I don't got people relying on me. So if I died, and it's not really big a deal. And I was like, what? Like, you got Becca, y'all might start a family. Like, what are you talking about? Your parents? Like, what? I didn't get that, but whatever. I mean, I'm glad he's not scared to die, I guess. And so that's how they got on the topic of, living life. And she said she lives life to the fullest now. and stops worrying and having anxiety. And like I said, she used to be scared to do things, and now she's not. And you just never know what someone has been through, because you couldn't have told me Becca had anxiety at one time. The way she's so outgoing and has this big personality, but it's not over the top. Like, she lights up a room. Like, I would never get anxiety from her. Like, I would never imagine that she suffered with anxiety that bad that she couldn't do anything. So hats off to her, and good for her for overcoming her anxiety. Like, that's truly a blessing. So shout out to Becca for that one. That was a really good story she shared by herself. So they also talked about, at some point, talking about having kids. Austin does want kids. Becca sounded like she could take or leave a kid. She said she could picture her life with them or without them. She feels like if she doesn't have kids, she could do a lot of other things to help her community that she wouldn't be able to do if she did have kids. They're both wanting to wait a few years, though, before they even start having kids. Austin grew up as the only child, and he did wish he had siblings. He would be bored in the house bored by himself. They both came from, well-off families, middle America, whatever. They weren't like struggling, nothing, no crazy upbringing. She grew up in Chicago, actually. And I think that was pretty much it. If I think of something else with them, I'll bring it up. But they didn't really have nothing going on, y'all, because y'all know they good. Okay, now let's talk about Brennon and Emily. Okay, so Brennon and Emily, they go to breakfast. Now, mind you, it had started raining down in Mexico, y'all, but they did end up going to breakfast, and she said they took a shower together, but it was real PG-13. She said they had on swimsuits, and on the after party, I think she said she had on swimsuits. Clint, shout out to Clint from Nashville season. He was on the after party, y'all, if y'all didn't watch it. So anywho, so she had went to go get some more towels or something. She slipped and fell. And he was like, he didn't even hear it, but she said she didn't want to be dramatic about it. So and didn't want to ruin the mood. So she kept it popping. But then the next day, her wrist or whatever was hurting. So they were talking about, how they get up in the morning. She has to make breakfast. She wants to get more into work routine, but she has a hard time closing her laptop. She said there's money to be made, okay? And so he said that he doesn't want her to lose that grind and stuff, and he feels like he's worked hard to be able to provide and do all he wants to do. She said she feels like she ought to work hard, make more money. Like, that's like the only way it's going to happen. So then they somehow got on the topic of finances from there, and Emily shared that, she wants to be able to do what she want to do when she want to do it with her money. I said, girl, me too. She want to go out to eat if she wants. She want to go, on vacation if she want. She said she don't really know how to do math. She not good with the budgeting and stuff. She don't know where her money be going, but she want to have plenty of money to spend. Okay, now, Emily, me and you are here, girl, for that one. We are here, okay? And I am recently learning that we can't be like that, though, Emily. Okay, we got to do better, Emily. We got to do better. But I was feeling Emily on that, okay? I just want to spend my money and not worry about it, okay? But now I got to worry about it because the way this economy is set up. So Brennon said, girl, we got to check on the bills. He said he likes to live below his means. He was like, do you like to do that? She said in her mind, she tries to do that, but she working at it. She trying. I said, me too, girl. Me too. So then he was like, I'm gonna have to take the reins on them finances. She was like, go ahead on, like, take it over. So, Brennan gonna be, he gonna probably be watching what Emily spend. Y'all watch it. He gonna be watching it. But budgeting is hard. Okay, it's very hard, y'all. So anywho, this laptop in my way. So we do see them with another scene where they go on like a date or whatever. They're tasting, I think it was called mezcal. I already say that drink. So they're taking all these shots, okay? I don't know how, I should have counted. How many shots y'all think was on that tray? Did anybody count it? It had to be at least 9, 10, 11, 12 shots in that tray. And they was taking all them shots. I don't know if they was drinking water or not. Brennan looked like he wasn't ready to do it. I was like, no, you got to take all of them shots, Brennan. Okay, Emily was like, it was taking it like a champ. Okay. Yeah, so they were talking about that. I think this is the scene where she asked, was he a partier in college? And she said she used to be a real party girl in college. And He's like, nah, he didn't really do too much. And she said she went to a party school, she had to do it. But she's like, oh, that's in the past now. I was like, Emily, we didn't talk about that talking out of turn. Quit telling Brennon everything you used to do in your partying ways, girl. You are turning him off. So, because Brennon is giving very much judgmental tea, okay? So anyway, she said she a married woman now. She don't do that. And so then she was kind of making fun of his like New York thing, and they were talking about, she said she was emotional. He said he could be sappy sometimes. I don't know. I don't know that about both of them, but we gonna see what happens. But they did enjoy each other, and that day, that was fun. You know, seeing them loosen up and get a little tipsy, that was cool. Later on, we do see them sitting on the beach, and so they say, you know, they're really enjoying the moment. They're hoping they can, you know, keep things going when they get back to the house, you know, get back to their regular life and their shared apartment living and how that's going to be. And so then she asked him, what about sex? Like, how is he feeling about having sex with her? And so, like, are we at that point yet? And I was like, oh, girl, this is awkward. So he was like, well, I feel like we're building up to there. And so basically, Brennon wants to work on emotional connection, building the foundation. He said he feels like when you have sex, it changes the dynamics of things, and he doesn't want to ruin that. They have an opportunity here to build foundation and build an emotional connection, and that's what he wants to do. Then work on the physical. Emily agrees. She says she's going to let Brennon take the lead on that and follow his lead. I will say, for Emily not being in a relationship, you know, ever before, I will say so far, even though it's been like 3 days, she is trying to, you know, she's letting Brennon lead. She's trying to learn as she goes. I do appreciate the effort she's putting in, and they kind of highlighted that on the after show. She was on it as well. All right, so then I think that was pretty much it with them as well. They didn't really have nothing else going on. Okay. Now, let's talk about Claire and Cameron, because let me tell y'all, Claire and Cameron, they about to be the problem children of this season for real. And Lauren and Orion about to be a close second. So, Claire and Cameron, Claire clearly don't like Cameron. And Cameron, I don't know what he want to do. So, Claire says she like to get up early. And Cameron likes to sleep in, right? Now, mind you, we on vacation. Do not wake me up early on vacation. Now, I'll get up. We got like one excursion planned. So, I'll give you 1 day of an excursion to get up early to do. And that's it. That's the only time I'm getting up early. Don't get me up early no other days on no vacation, okay? And the excursion really depends on where we at, okay? So she up all early. She told me she want to eat breakfast. I would have went to breakfast and came back if I was her. She waiting on Cameron to get up, so they're going paddleboarding. So she was making fun of his outfit because he had on that blue long sleeve shirt and them blue shorts. And then she thought the patterns were the same, but it wasn't even matching. I'd rather he had wore a matching outfit, and then he wore that fishing hat. He did look crazy, but you know, he was just going paddleboarding. So he was wearing his paddleboarding outfit, okay? And so she was saying he looked like he could be a dad, and he would have 2 kids running behind him. She's making fun of the shorts, and she's making fun of his outfit, okay? Now, mind you, she had on some long, old-looking grandma shorts and a crochet top, okay? So I was like, well, girl, what you wearing? But they were just going paddleboarding. I don't know why she was having on shorts and a swimsuit. Like, I don't know. And why he just can wear some swim trunks or whatever. So Cameron didn't like the fact that Claire was making fun of him. And he was saying, like, you know, she keeps making fun of me. And I could tell that she's just not fully comfortable with me. And all this stuff is going to take some time. And I was like, oh, Lord. And she also shared with us that they had a long talk the night before. And he's even more confused than he was before about the whole intimacy thing and them connecting and sex and all that good stuff, okay? So they finally get out and they go paddleboarding. They seem to have a good time. And so he said that was his first time doing that, right? And so they said they connected over that, and they glad they got to do that. And so then somehow they started talking about each other's jobs. And so he was like, so you're still, they're both like scared to offend each other. Like everyone's hemming and hawing, beating around the bush. It's annoying to me. So he was like, so you still finishing, not to say still like that, but you still doing school and whatnot. So she was like, yeah, she got one more year for her master's. And then she will be done, okay? I wonder, did she do all her, well, she is a practicing therapist, I believe, so I'm sure she did all her clinical hours and whatever they have to do, internships and all that good stuff, right? So then she was explaining that, and then she was like, so you just fix bikes, like, you like doing that? That's all you do is fix the bikes? That's not how she said it, but that's how she implied it. And they both were throwing so much shade at each other in that scene, and they just hate each other so much. And part of me feels like maybe Claire and Cameron just need to have sex and get it out the way and see if that makes it better. They are very much giving Gina and Clint. They are very much giving Gina and Clint for Nashville. So Claire was like, well, he was like, it's not just fixing the bikes. It's a lot that goes into it. Different bikes break down different ways. She was like, does that get boring to you? He was like, no, like, it's like being a surgeon. Does being a surgeon be boring? Now, I don't know how fixing a bike is like being a surgeon, Cameron. That's not a good comparison, but we'll go on with it. He said that, it's not about the bikes per se, is about the people, because I forgot the name of the location, but basically where the people live, sometimes I guess they're on like a lockdown, and all they could do is go out and ride their bike. That's all they can do. And for them not to have a bike, that's hard on them. And so he said he does it more for the people. And so she agreed that they can connect on the fact that they both love their job and helping people and that kind of thing. And that's what they, like about each other. I was like, is it really? So then later on, we see Claire and Cameron go out to eat, I believe, right? And so they're sitting and talking, right? And they're gonna have dinner, and he asked her, is she having a good time with him? And she's like, oh yeah, like I feel like I'm laughing a lot, and I know I'm having a good time if I'm laughing a lot. And so he starts talking about their relationship and all this stuff, and then somehow she got on topic of therapy, right? So she was saying like, when it comes to like mental health, for example, she takes it very seriously. Like that's why she takes, her job very seriously and the whole mental health thing. And so then she asked him, does he go to therapy? Does he believe in therapy? And so he said he would go as a kid, but he's not currently going. But like, of course, therapy can be good for people, but people are scared to go. And so then she asked him, well, why aren't you going right now? And so then he was like, well, I don't feel like that's what's needed in my life right now. But if it comes to me, then I'll go. Like, if it comes down to go, he'll go. And so then she was like, what do you mean? Like, if it comes to you, like, how does that work? Like, things in life don't just come to you. You have to, like, work for them. And he's like, well, no, like, I do things as they come. Like, if the opportunity is presented for me to do something, then that's when I would do it. And then she was like, okay, but are you saying you don't have to work hard to get things? Like, you have to, even for that opportunity, you have to work to get it. And so then he was like, I mean, yeah, but I had to be here. Also, for this to even happen, I had to be here. And so, I get what both of them are saying. I feel like both things are true at the same time. Yeah, opportunity will come to you for things. You will be in the right place at the right time sometimes. But you also got to work hard sometimes to get to that right place at the right time. So I feel like both of them are right. They just had different values, right? And so Claire was like, I don't agree with that. Do you think you don't have to work for anything? Things are just going to come to you. She doesn't agree with that. But she said, that's the nice thing about their relationship, is that they can have different views on life and all these good things. Cameron is just not feeling Claire. He's not understanding, like, what does she want? Claire definitely is not making it clear what she wants. And I just don't see it for them. But y'all let me know if y'all do in the comments. Okay, so then we get to Lauren and Orion, right? So we do see them, I think they were like getting dressed. Well, I think the first thing we saw them was when they were in I guess it was like a swimming pool, and they were talking. And so he said that he wants to make sure Lauren is comfortable with him. And that is one of his main priorities. And they talk about how they've had some crappy past relationships that didn't work out, and how they want to continue to use this time to get to know each other. And he is happy to have Lauren as a wife. And I think at this time they did talk about kids as well. And so Lauren only wants to have one kid, but she's definitely open to adoption. And Orion is fine with that, right? So then later on, we see them getting ready to go get in a hammock or something. And so Lauren was doing her makeup and her hair, right? Mind you, she had her vacation passion twister braids in. And so she said she's going to finish her makeup and then she's going to lay her edges real quick, right? Now, us, we know what that means when we say lay our edges, right? But other people who are not us, they may not know what lay your edges mean, right? So we had a teachable moment on Lifetime TV. So he was like, oh, can I watch and see how you put your edges down? And so then she was like, what did you say? And she's like, repeat that again. And he said, can I watch you put your edges down? And she was like, no, it's not putting them down. It's laying your edges, okay? And so Orion was like, yeah, he want to see how she lay her edges, okay? And Orion is very much giving good girlfriend. He's very much giving good girlfriend. And I don't mean that in a derogatory, disrespectful way. But Orion is very much giving Lauren's good girlfriend, okay? So he watched her. So she basically gave a little tutorial. She had the edge brush with the comb on one side, the brush on the other side, and the pointed tip. I got that yellow one in my bathroom, okay? I was brought it out for y'all, but I need to wash it, and I didn't want to be embarrassed down to the YouTube. So, anyway, she said she liked to comb her edges out first, and she liked to braid her to leave some baby hairs out because she liked sideburns. I don't like all them sideburns, y'all. So then she had her gel. I want to tell her, girl, you need to get you some edge control. So the Instinct Control is the best brand for me. Let me know what kind of edge control y'all use in the comments, though. And so then she was combing it through and swooping it. Okay, and then she tied it down with a scarf. Now, when I got braids or crochet or whatever in my hair, I don't be doing all that. Like, sometimes I will comb and swoop and comb and swoop and comb and swoop when I got time. But if I don't have time, I just be dabbing that edge control, slapping it on, maybe brush it a little bit, maybe, and run off to work, okay? Now, when it comes to the wigs, then I put more like time and effort and trying to get the baby hairs right and using the comb and swoop and all that. But it just really depends. So, he related that moment to his culture, how when they get ready for the powwows and it can take 2 hours to do their hair for the people who are going to be in the, I don't know if it's a ceremony or whatever it is in that tradition, right? So he appreciated that, she was sharing some of his culture with him. So then we see them later on laying in a hammock, right? And so they were having a drink and they were talking about, she just said, like, it's crazy for them to have even done the experiment, okay? And so then he said, he can't believe that he's even married. And they began to talk about, their gender roles and all that kind of stuff, because somehow they got on the topic of gender roles. And so he asked about, what does she feel about gender roles? And so she said she definitely likes the traditional role, gender roles. She wants to be taken care of by her man, but she also wants to take care of her man. And so she said she's happy that Orion could cook, but she wants to cook for him too. Like, she doesn't believe that she should be the only one cooking. And he was like, well, everybody needs to know how to cook. And she's like, yeah, I would want to know how to cook, but I appreciate you cooking. And she also wants to cook for her man sometimes. She want to be learning and earning her man, right? And so then they got on topic of provision. He said he wants to be the provider. He wants to be the man of the household and be the sole provider. But, right now he's not there yet, but it's going to take some time. And so she was like, yeah, I know you did say you want to be the provider, right? You was talking about that 80-20, right? And so then he was like, oh, more like 60-40, 70-30. I said 60-40, 70-30? 60-40, 70-30? Where we doing that at, Orion? No. So then she was like, oh, it's 80-20. And so then he was like, well, he wants to do that. It's going to take some time to get there. But she also said, she doesn't want to feel like he got to do it all. She wants to give as well. And honestly, y'all, in today's society, we doing 50-50 because the economy is too much. But nah, do what works for y'all and y'all household, though. Don't let nobody on the internet tell you how to split your bills and who should be paying what. Do what works for you and your mate, okay? So, anyway, then she asked him about his landscaping situation. So, like, what's good down there? Like, is he hairy in the area below his waist or not? And so he said he like a little bit of hair. Like, it's not bald, but it's not too much. And he got some manscaping stuff going. So he got a whole kit, and that's how he's keeping it. And so she said she likes that. She wanted to know what to expect. And so then she complimented him on his pretty long eyelashes. And then she kissed him. And I was like, huh? Okay, girl. Lauren is giving forced. Lauren is giving very much. I'm trying to stick it through. Lauren is putting in the work to make it work. Okay, girl. Then, now this is where the scene that got a little heated, right? Okay, so they're in this hot tub. Looks like they're in their room and they're drinking champagne or whatever. So Lauren wants to get out because it got too hot in there, okay? And so she was like, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Like, we're going to get real with these questions. So she was like, have you ever used the N-word before? And so she's like, just be honest. And so he was like, yeah, you know, growing up being stupid and singing songs. And he was like, I'm not proud of it. My mom, you know, is the one that corrected me on not to do that and all that. And then she was like, you know, that's fine, you know. And she gave him a punch on behalf of the ancestors. And she did, you know, respect him for saying that and learning from it, right? And so then he was like, what about you? And so she said, yeah, I've said stupid things growing up that I shouldn't have said, derogatory comments. And so he said, have you said redskin, like redskin? And so she said, no, I've never like used that word. She's like, I really don't even know what it means. And then she looked him dead in the eyes and started cracking up. And then she's like, oh, I know what it means. And then he was like, oh, ouch. And then she was like, no, I didn't mean it like that. She's like, I looked at your face and I can see you getting sunburned and you turning red. So that's why red skin clicked for her. So he was like, dang. And then she's like, oh, did that like hurt you? And he's like, yeah, it did. And she's like, oh, really? Like that hurt you? She's like, oh, like, I'm sorry. And so, because I think at first Lauren is like, really? Like that hurt you? But she did apologize, right? So, she was like, I honestly didn't know what it meant. Like, I didn't mean it like in a way where I was calling you that to make a joke about it. I was just laughing because I seen that, you know, you were getting sunburned. And so then he was like, well, do you want to know what it means? And then she was like, yeah, if you want to tell me. He's like, okay, if you want to know, I'll tell you what it means. So then he explained the historical, you know, meaning of that word and how back in the day, the colonizers basically felt like the scalp of the Native American people was like better than gold at the time. And that's where the term redskin came from, right? And so she was like, you know, I'm so sorry that I even said it and brought it up. And I even put any thought or hurt or laughter into something that is, you know, historically painful for you and your people. Okay. So she didn't apologize 3-4 times now. And so she said also, like, I want to know, like, what is the point of it's, you know, something being offensive and something being a joke? Because she said, I honestly was not trying to, like, offend you, right? And so then he was like, well, for me, it's totally offensive. It's totally offensive. And then she was like, okay, well, like, you know, she's like, that's where I see things differently, I guess. She's like, you know, I'm a Black woman. We're the butt of a lot of jokes here in America. And, like, I've just learned to take some things on the chin, some things we just laugh about. Like, yeah, we're both marginalized people, but we come from very two different backgrounds. So I totally get what Lauren was saying, especially as a Black woman, right? Like, Black people in general, like, we have to take a lot on the chin. There's a lot we have to correct now and say something about, but there's a lot we have to, you know, we kind of laugh to keep from crying, and we sometimes don't take things too seriously because we would be upset all day if we were crying about every little thing that happened to us. And I think that's just the way we are set up. Black people, and especially Black women, we're just a little tougher. Not to say you shouldn't call things out, but we just kind of, we be moving, okay? And we're just a little tougher. So he was saying like, well, I don't like what, like the minimizing of it and all this stuff. And so she was like, well, I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm just saying that's just where we differ. And he's like, oh, you wouldn't like me to say anything about your culture though. And then she's like, no, I wouldn't. And so she was like, I also feel like, you handled the situation with Cameron yesterday on the bus when Cameron said, they played the flashback of Cameron saying, and this was last week's episode, y'all, of Cameron saying, we got to be careful, stay on the resort, not leave the reservation. He looked dead at Orion. And I think he meant to say not leave the resort, but he said not leave the reservation, and he looked dead at Orion, so then it was offensive. And then Lauren was like, oh, you said the reservation looked dead at my husband. And then he was like, oh, it's okay, I know in ignorance and I hear it. So Lauren's thing is, okay, you getting all tense with me, getting all mad with me, but you didn't have that same energy for Cameron, who's a white man. And I agree, he didn't keep the same energy, right? And so she was like, I'm really happy we had this talk. Like, how do you feel about the talk? And so he was like, well, honestly, I'm heated. And so she was like, dang, really? And so that's kind of even more when she said, like, okay, well, that is the difference. Like, I don't understand, like, you're getting tensed up right now. You say you heated, you mad, but like, you wasn't feeling like that when Cameron said it. Like, we're just having this conversation. That's the thing I'm saying. Like, if something was said about, to me, I'm not going to, like, basically she's not getting as worked up as him. And so she kind of still was trying to make it a point of the different cultures. But then he was saying, like, okay, but he went back to his point of, like, it's offensive, like the way I was raised, like, we don't make jokes about each other's cultures, like, point blank in a period. And that was pretty much where they left off, y'all. Like I said, okay, so for me, Orion gives way too much feminine energy. Now, I can't debate and tell nobody how to feel about, their culture, derogatory terms of their culture. Like, I can understand that comment being offensive and upsetting. Of course, people should not be saying that at all. But Lauren in that moment was not saying it in an offensive way. And she wasn't trying to call him that, right? She just said she didn't even know what it meant. And so I don't think she was trying to make a light of it or make a joke of it. And so he did say on the after party that he was struggling to give her grace. And Keisha Napoleon was like, well, okay, well, she gave you grace in what you said, the words you used to say when you said the N word. So hopefully, I don't know. Orion, like I said, to me is just a little too much feminine energy for me. Even though the way his way he kind of holds himself, I don't think that's quite what Lauren was looking for. But I could be wrong. Next week, looking like she gonna tell him she had sex 2 months before the process started, and he ain't gonna like that. So anyway, y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, y'all. Hit that subscribe button before you get off of this video, please. And share the video where y'all like to share your videos. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.